Hello and welcome to the two-man power trip of wrestling. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me today, very special guest. You may know him as a member of the Headshrinkers or the Samoan SWAT team. He's a former WWE World Tag Team Champion. Of course, he is Mr. Samu. Samu, welcome to the two-man power trip. How you doing?
John, how are you, bro? Good to see you.
Doing good, doing good. Great to see you. Of course, big show coming up this weekend. Actually, the Celeb Fest in Baltimore. So, what's going on with that? How you doing? I know DH Promotions is bringing you in.
Yeah, it's looking good. We've been excited to be able to come down there and see everybody in Baltimore, the area, and hang out there with everybody. Uh, you know, a lot of hard work goes into these things, so I want to give a shout out to everybody that's making this possible.
Yeah, everybody that's going there, of course, go to the DH Promotions table, can see you and see Million Dollar Man Ted DiBiase. It's going to be a huge show. It usually is in Baltimore. I know you've probably been to Baltimore more than a few times.
Oh yeah, Baltimore is one of my favorite cities there, but yeah, back in the day, we used to tear it up down there.
When you think of Baltimore, you think of old school WWF, like those days,
Sure.
like Bob Backlund era days.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, because this is where I got my start really. So this is one of the few that in Philadelphia, New York was, you know, pretty exciting for a young kid getting going. I was only like what 18 years old then, so I was just tickled.
When you did get your start, was that all because of your dad? Alpha brought you in because, like you said, you were 17, 18 years old when you first started.
Yeah, what happened? I was in Dallas. I was a babyface down in Dallas, paying my dues, learning the ropes, and my dad and uncle were up in WWF at the time, and they were tag team champions. They had just won a tag team championship, and my uncle had broken his hip, so he wasn't able to compete for several months. And at first, the talk was about trying to get someone to replace him, and then my dad, didn't want to replace. That's his brother. He said that he doesn't want to tag with anybody unless at the time it was Captain Lou or his son, which was me. And Andre the Giant at the time had been traveling. He was hitting all the territories. So he had come down there and seen me down there, and I met Andre and hung out with him a couple of times. So when he got back up, he said, "Yeah, he's a big kid. Put him in there." So Vince Senior and Vince Junior um, decided to run with me. So it was kind of a deer in the headlights type of thing.
Yeah, were you ready for that? That's a big step up there.
Yeah, at the time too, I used to always wonder that, am I ready? Am I doing okay? And my dad assured me if I wasn't, I wouldn't be there. So
Hmm.
it was it was pretty fun. But at the same time, how can I go wrong? I had so much help back in those days. Everybody was, somebody that knew everything. So it was a great learning experience for me. Um, Under pressure, of course, but no better way to learn.
And I guess you were technically Wild Samoan number three, Samula, right back then. You weren't technically Samu as of yet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was Samuel. Actually, to say my name in Samoan is Samuel, and Vince he was got a little excited there and shuffled the words, and it came out Samala, and that shit stuck with me forever, and I hated it, and it was like, how about Samu? Can it's easy to remember, it's short, because Alpha, Sika, and Sam, that just wasn't going to get it. so,
Yeah,
so
that's a Vince Junior screw up or a Vince Senior screw up.
nobody screwed up. It's just I guess the way it came out and a bunch of excitement. But Junior,
Oh, okay, you're right, right, okay. It's just one of those things. It's like, wow, they got another Wild Samoan. It just seems like, like this is trouble. There's more of these Samoans for
mm,
for the WWF at the time, especially Bob Backlund. It was a bit of a problem for him.
yeah, like Bob was a good guy. He was good to me.
Was that a lot of pressure? Because early on in your career, you had a world title match, and a couple of them against Bob Backlund. A lot of pressure to throw out there, and you're facing the top dog in the WWF.
Of course, of course, it was a lot of pressure. But at the same time, I had my dad in my corner, and like I said, I had countless help in the back, and just I was just lucky and blessed to be at the right place at the right time.
Did your dad always want you to be a pro wrestler?
No, he wanted me to be a mechanic so I could fix his car so he can hit the road.
So when you told him you wanted to get in, what was his thoughts?
Oh, he said it wasn't, as easy as I thought it was, and I knew, that it wasn't, so I tried to, you know, convince him that I was. He says, okay, so we were in Louisiana, I think it was Shreveport, maybe, Shreveport, Louisiana, and he says, we're going to go in early tonight into the show, and you're going to wrestle, like 5 of us. So, train with 5 of us. So it was basically like little scrimmage matches, 3-minute matches. And I was relieved that it was only 3 minutes. And, to a young kid in pretty good shape at that time, 3 minutes didn't sound too threatening. But at the same time, they were all different kind of styles. Green guy, and the rest were veteran. Some were snugger than others, and then the last one was Sheik. So
Oh,
it was funny. It was Ken Mantell, the green guy at that time, Vinny Ramiro, my dad, my uncle, and Sheik. So 3 minutes we went. Sure, that sure felt like an hour.
yeah.
But
Oh
at
my
the
God.
same time, everybody had their own styles. Everybody, somebody was really light, somebody was a little snug, somebody was not. And the last one was Sheik. Sheik says, and I overhear him telling my dad, Alpha, I'm gonna make him respect the business. I go, "Oh, shit, here we go." And I'm already blowed up. Like I said, 3 minutes is a lot longer than I thought it was. So Sheik, yeah, I don't know how many know he was a gold medalist in the wrestling at the time. Not at the time, but in his past.
Yep.
So he was putting all of these holds on me and putting the sugar on me, whatnot. And then he got me and he hooked me, but he could never pin me at the time. He couldn't pin me. And then the only thing that he could do was try to submit me. But at the same time, I know my dad and my uncle's there. So I'm like, what's the worst that's going to happen? He's not going to break my fucking arm. So I was like, yeah, all right. Go ahead, break it. I told him. So
Yeah.
um, what else was I going to do? So,
Right.
but anyway,
Pretty good way to start the business, though. I mean, geez, cheeky baby.
it was. Yes, it was. He tried to humble me.
Yes, yes, make you humble. Yes, I remember he used to always say that about Brian Blair. He was gonna, f him in the ass and make him humble, like crazy stuff from the Sheik.
He
He,
could,
like you said, legitimate tough guy though. I mean, scary dude.
oh, yeah, yeah. He's off the wall too because, he's like a loose cannon to me at that time because, I mean, this guy's out in the freezing cold in the parking lot in his wrestling trunks and his curly boots doing squats. So it's, wow, this guy is not home.
And
But
remember,
after
he
a
had those
while,
little
yeah, he had these crazy baseball bat clubs and shit that he used to do out there. Sheik was funny.
your actual training. Did your dad play like a big role in that? Did your uncle play a big role in the actual
Sure,
training
of
in the
course.
business?
Well, you got to remember too. I was raised on the road. I was traveling with them on the highways, and as a young kid, that's what I wanted to do. When I got home from school, try to get out of school early enough so I could jump in the car and maybe go with my dad. Um, yeah, a lot of time spent on the road. Then everybody's happy when I learned how to drive, so I could drive everybody. So everything worked out.
Was that a lot of pressure on you though? Because it's like, you got to be good, and you got to be in the business. You know what I mean? Is that pressure on you though? Because that's like the Wild Samoans. I mean, that's a pretty hard act to follow.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, too, I wanted to, I wanted to be like them, but I couldn't. I was baby face. I couldn't. I had no mustache, no hair on my face, and uh, they were running around picking their nose and stuff like that. So I had to try to be part of it, but yeah, be a little bit different. Like a newer age. Like I try to stop them from picking their nose, and try to tell them, you know, stuff in English and everything. Hey, stay out of my camera.
All right, you got to try to like Americanize them, I guess, so to speak. Right? You got to Westernize them, so to speak.
Yeah, what else was I gonna do? So there was two. There was we were doing the promos where Vince was out there. He was doing the promos, and Captain Lou's out there, my dad's out there, and I'm it's just two baby faces. Told me to just turn around and look at the back wall, let them see just the back of you, let them wonder what the hell you look like. So that's what we did, in the beginning. And time went by pretty fast. Time goes fast when you're having fun.
Yeah, oh my God. Can't believe, like, if you look back at it, it's like, wow, you debuted in the WWF in 1983,
Hmm.
40 years ago. I mean, that's just nuts to think about that.
Yeah, it is. Time goes fast. I always say that, and the more time goes by, the more I realize that it's going faster than I even say. It's crazy. I got 7 grandkids now, and life is just a blessing. I'm blessed to be here. Everybody knows, I had that liver transplant too, September 2019. So
Yeah, how are you doing physically?
good, good. I'm older now. I feel older anyway, but I want to blame the liver. but no, I'm happy to be here. Like I said, I got my grandchildren here, my kids, and I'm looking forward to all these memories I'm still able to make.
When you look at it, we're saying like 1983, which is crazy. Like that's when you debuted in the WWF. You really kind of made your mark in 1992, 1993, really, and even 94, when you're the Head Shrinkers with Fatu. When you came all the way back, I know obviously there was some Montreal, some WCW, some world class mixed in between. But when you came back to WWF in the mid 90s, did you think like, wow, this place has really changed from the 1983 era? I mean, we're in a completely
Oh,
different era now.
oh yes, 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 for sure. I mean, everybody was. I mean, we were still doing a lot of driving at the time, but a lot more flying than compared to back in the '80s. Um, Anything over the under 250 miles, we were driving back then. Then it was like 17 days on the road, 3 days off. The schedule was hectic. Up and down the highways. But hey, it's what we do because we love it. So once anybody that stepped in the ring, well, it's addicting. Once you step your foot in there, your body hits the mat, it's done. It's a done deal.
How did you get back in 92? Like, what was was Vince just like, hey, we want to bring the Samoans back, we give them a different name as the Head Shrinkers? How'd you get back in like when you came back in the mid 90s?
Well, it was supposed to be Yokozuna and I were supposed to do the head shrinker gimmick because we were tag teaming up in Japan at the time, and we were supposed to do the head shrinker gimmick in WWE. Well, actually, they wanted us to be New Guinea headhunters, and we're like, oh no, please, can we be
Yeah.
Samoan? How about the head shrinkers? We came up with that. But we were like, okay. But like I said, it was supposed to be Yoko and myself, and Yoko was at that time too. He was doing a lot of single stuff in Mexico, and he had got a cut on his leg which got infected, so he wasn't able to make our debut with Vince. And JJ Dillon went in the back and told the sad news, and then Vince just scratch the whole thing, forget it. He does that real good sometimes. So.
Yep.
And then we were at the time, Fatu was there with me. He was like laying down, relaxing underneath the table, and we're like, "Hey, let's go in there," because him and I were the SST for the longest time, so we still had a package to offer. So we were like, we still got something to show. Give us a chance, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, we'll leave. So basically, that's what happened. And then Fatu and I went out there and tore it down, and um, the rest was history. Yeah.
That's so interesting though that they didn't want the Samoan SWAT team together. They wanted you and Yoko together. That's kind of interesting.
Well, Yoko and I was already a tag team in Japan for a couple of years now. So I think basically they just wanted us out of Japan.
So they
They
weren't even
weren't even
thinking of
thinking of
you and
you and
Fatu.
Fatu. No, not at the time.
Man, I just remember you guys in WCW like tearing it up. It's like, wow, Paul Heyman, who obviously is still with Roman today, it's like he brought you guys in. It's like these guys are killers. Like these guys are awesome.
Yeah.
It's just funny to think that WWF didn't think of that originally, even though it turned out better for everybody.
Yeah, well, it was just the package that we presented at the time. And of course, like I said, I was with Yoko for a long time in Japan. We were there every other month usually, and it was crazy. We did, we did a lot of good business over there. So I'm not going to abandon him at the time, and you know, it was just natural that we go together.
So it was
But
you guys that came up.
he once he healed up, he came back, and that was even better for everybody. It was like we all had jobs,
Yep.
No eat.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. So it was you guys that came up with the head shrinker's name, like you said. You didn't want the New Guinea headhunter's name there. So head
Yeah, no,
shrinker's actually
I
a pretty
don't
good name.
even know what no offense, but I don't know nothing about the New Guinea, nothing, anything.
Who comes
So
up with that stuff? Is that Vince? Is that creative? Like where does that stuff come
don't get me going.
from?
I think it was Vince Russo.
Oh wow, really? Okay, interesting.
That's me. That's just what I think. Just from hearing different things he said on different platforms.
So when you and fought
Yeah,
two,
like
or
that pretty much.
when
So
you
we
and
had to
fought,
put ourselves over.
oh, gotcha, okay. So when you and fought two are together, obviously you go the Steiner brothers. I mean, there's a bunch of great tag teams that you guys wrestle. When you
Hmm.
guys are together, are you just like are you thinking to yourself like this is where we want to be? This is great money. This is what we want to do.
Yeah.
Are you happy like with your position in the company?
Sure. I mean, everybody wants to be as high as you can get. Of course. But as far as tag teams, yeah, yeah, well, we were happy with where we at, and we fought for our positions. And, we worked hard for it, and a lot of it came to fruit. We did good. I mean, not like the money they're making today, but to us back then. And you got to remember too, I came from the '80s, so the '90s looked a lot better, or so I thought. And now that everybody's doing phenomenal now. It's good. I'm
Oh yeah.
proud of everybody.
What was the travel schedule like? Like how many days were you guys on the road back then? A lot.
Oh yeah, 17 days on, 3 days off. And out of those 3 days, takes you one day to get home, take a shower, wash your ass, pack your bag, get back on the road, catch up to everybody again. So it's hard. It's really hard on a family life, or on a marriage. Your kids, you're away from your family. It's just that's a real hard part.
Yeah, so you're basically home one day out of every 20 almost.
Hmm.
Man, that's rough. Yeah, that's just terrible. So the guys on the road, I mean, they're your family in essence.
Yeah, but like I said too, things aren't like that anymore. I'm glad these guys are able to spend time with their families and still be able to, you know, put food on the plate.
When you guys turned babyface and beat the Quebecers and win the tag team titles, I think it was April of '94 on Raw. Was that like a big thing? Like, does that mean as much to you guys as the wrestlers as just the fans? Like, wow, look at the resume; they're tag team champions. You can, like I mentioned at the top of the episode, you mean you can mention that forever, tag team champs. Does that mean as much as you guys to the wrestlers as it does to us, the fans?
Oh, of course. That's what, like I said, that's what we fought for. The top, to try to get to the top position. And as far as tag teams, that's it. Once you get there, what I didn't like was that we were babyface. Because when we pitched the idea of becoming champions, that we can, hold the fort and hold that everything down, we felt, um, you know, they switched us babyface without, no notice. It was like, boom, here's Captain Blue, and you guys are babyface. I was like, wow. It kind of messed my whole vision of where I thought we were going up. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, that is interesting because you guys are like natural heels to me because it's like, oh, these guys are savages, they're animals, they're heels, right?
Mhm. Sure, that's what I felt. That's what I felt. Uh, they just, sometimes you don't know. It depends who's writing and what they're writing, when they're writing. Uh, it's better if you have their own creative control. The more you have, the better off you are. Like once you get out there, I feel. No, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you don't feel it, you know it. Yeah, you've lived it, you felt it, yeah. So when you guys are tag champs, are you expecting like this really long reign? I mean, you guys do hold it for I think about 4 months or so, but are you expecting a longer reign, shorter reign, or they don't tell you stuff like that?
No, at the time there was a lot of I felt games going around back and forth with, so I was not very happy at the time. Even though we had the belt, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the vision that I had. Um, I'm not one to like to be babyface. Not, nothing against it. To other people, to each his own. Me, I'd rather be heel. And, it's just the way it is.
So you,
So
when you guys
when you guys
lose the
lose
tag
the tag
titles
title,
to Diesel and HBK, they're just like, okay, that's fine. We're moving on. You like, there was nothing promised to you guys or anything as far as that.
no, no, they were next in line, and again, it, the chemistry it just wasn't there against heel. Heel, especially the guys that have us work. Their job, they want what that's in their mind is to get themselves over, and they want to be the best. Same thing that we were thinking when we were. So yeah, no, it was. I don't even think that match happened. I think they just said it happened and switched the belts over there because I just ended up. I had a fractured sacroiliac too that I worked with for over a year, and there was just a lot of things that piled up at the same time that made me have to just hit the road and go home back to my family.
It seemed like, okay, head shrinkers are gone, but then they bring back the Samoan Gangster Party. Was that supposed to be something? Because you guys don't really have a match. It's you and Matt, obviously Matt,
Mm.
Rodney, or whatever, or Matt and Hawaii. But was there supposed to be something more with you guys? Because I mean, you guys do something ECW, but you don't really have a match in WWF.
Right. Well, those plans got scratched. The direction that we were going at that time, Fatu was doing the Make a Difference gimmick, and Matt and I were supposed to come in and try to switch everything back heel again and bring Fatu with us. And then, we were supposed to try to form our own little group. Um, well, we know today it works. But
Yeah.
it's good. It was a good idea, I thought, at the time. But everybody everybody has their own opinion.
And I guess you were Sammy the Silk, right? At that point?
Yeah, yeah, and ECW,
Yeah.
ECW.
Yeah. Same gimmick, though. Samoan Gangster Party. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and at the time too, we wanted nothing more than to see ECW and Paulie succeed in their little takeover type of a gimmick,
Yeah.
their little wild thing. Uh, so yeah, it was a good move. It was a good presence. Everybody was cool. I knew everybody there anyway, so it's just it was another phase, another time.
That's funny because speaking of Paul Lee, it's funny you managed you guys as SST. God, in '89, right in the '80s into
Hmm.
the '90s, ECW show up. He's still with Roman Reigns, Roman today, right? I mean, it's just crazy to think that the longevity of Heyman with the Samoans of all people.
Hey, we knew him forever since back in when I first started. Like what was it, 83, 82, 83. And Paul was around then too. People don't even know that. So it's it's been a long road with Paul. We have our history and a lot of good times. A lot of times I drive him crazy, but hey, who don't I drive crazy?
Even Heyman was around before you even got there. He was taking pictures when Vince Senior was there. So I mean, he
Hmm.
was around WWF or WWF for forever, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean.
When you look at the current landscape of the WWE and the Bloodline and Roman Reigns and the Usos, do you acknowledge the tribal chief? Is he the head of the table? Is he the tribal chief?
Of course he is. Of course he is. Hey, listen. He brought these people up to to be able to pay attention to bring it back. I don't know how to say it. I mean, not that it got boring or anything. It just sometimes wrestling does that. It just flatlines for a while, and then it makes a comeback all the time. Wrestling just does. They'll go dead, and something else will pop up, some new thing, and that'll last 5 minutes and go away. Nothing's really changed on the landscape of the format, so pretty it's pretty obvious. The ratings and everything like that Joe's doing is phenomenal. It's great business. I'm glad he has a lot of creative control.
That's the one thing. Remember when they were scripting his promos and he was saying suffer and succotash and stuff, and it was like not getting over, and it was and then it's like him letting him be himself. It's like, wow, this guy is unbelievable. You know what I mean? It's like this guy is he could just he's like Tony Soprano over here the way he's talking and controlling the room.
Yeah, don't try too hard. Let it flow. Like, don't force it.
What do you think of like just the bloodline in general? Because, like you said, wrestling is hot again. Roman is the first $1 billion champion ever, right? I mean, they're worth billions. What do you like? What do you think of the bloodline right now?
Oh, just proud to be able to watch these kids do their thing. I'm proud to be here. I'm hoping one day they'll smarten up and put my son in there too. Lance, he's been busting his ass since he was been in the ring since he was 5 years old. But everybody's got their turn, so he's still in the shadows waiting his turn.
The
But
thing is, too,
he's still doing it. He's still doing what he loves.
yeah, and the thing is, too, they were supposedly going to have this tribal ceremony, this acknowledgement ceremony. Was like everybody going to be a part of that? Like, were they going to bring you back and Rikishi and all these other guys? Was everybody going to be a part of that with Roman?
From what I know, yeah, it was supposed to Kishi, myself, my dad, my uncle, to name a few, and my dad couldn't fly at the time, and Rikishi had pneumonia at the time, so everything just got put on the back burner.
Almost worked out just as okay because they had that Sami Zayn thing, and now that heated up that crowd. Man, I haven't heard heat like that in forever. They wanted to kill Roman, F you Roman and stuff. They're chanting. I mean, that was great. He's the master.
Yeah, yeah, I loved it. It was good. It was good. It was good TV.
When you look at it, are you proud though? Because if you look at it, obviously High Chief is kind of the originator, but your dad and Sika are like the real rock steady, and then it goes to you and Rikishi, and then you know what I mean. Like you're part of that generation, you're part of that bloodline. Does that make you proud and happy to see what's going on here today with these guys?
Of course, yeah, yeah. Because we fought to keep that bloodline, that blood flowing. You know what I'm saying. So that we always kept it alive. It's never really died out, and now it's just got a boost of gasoline to the flame. And yeah, we're proud. I'm tickled myself. I'm Joe's one of my little cousins, man. That we watched through football. We were cheering him along the way, and he had a few mishaps, with the leukemia. Made a comeback off of that, kicked its ass, and it's not to love about the guy. It's, busting his ass, and he's doing it the right way. And myself and the family's proud of
He's the best in the business. He's the best I've seen in maybe 2 decades, maybe since The Rock, who obviously is another family member of yours. Funny how that happens. The Samoans always somehow are the best. You know what I mean? It's like The Rock, and then you wait a little bit, and Roman's the next great one. What is it about the Samoans? You think that it's just wrestling is just in their blood, no matter what?
mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. It's gotta be. It's something we all have in common. So it's true. Uh,
It is true though. It's like The Rock, Roman, Yokozuna, obviously you, Rikishi. I mean, there's so many. Your dad, Sika, your uncle. I mean, there's so many guys that are Samoan. The Usos, obviously. I mean, just like there's never a bad one. Like there's never a bad worker. Have you never noticed that? It's like everyone's always good.
we work hard. We work hard, and we do everything mostly not mostly everything in the name of God too. So uh, we give all the thanks to the Lord.
As we wind it down, we head towards the finish here. Do you have just some favorite opponents you've had over the years? I've just been curious to that because you guys, I mean, you had some killer matches with a ton of guys.
Yeah, I flash back all the time. I did. I mean, we had some great matches with like the Smoking Guns and everything. But I go back like to Dusty Rhodes, Andre the Giant, Jimmy Snuka. This is a time where this young kid had a chance to work all of his idols and be in the same ring. Something I never thought would happen. That always stuck with me through the years. So uh, coming back to we still was Andre was still there. Everybody was still there. We were all just a little bit older, different now, but it was good times. It was good time learning experiences, and again, couldn't have did it without all the help. All the guys in the business that helped us out along the way, gave us advice. Small things, big things, small things, everything. You just pick it up and uh, keep your mouth shut and be a sponge, ears open, all of that. It's true.
What do you think is the legacy of your family? I mean, the Samoan dynasty, the Anawahi family. What do you think is the legacy? Because there is so much greatness, but how would you describe it?
As far as what do you mean? The
Like
legacy we
if somebody says like when they're many years in the future that they're looking back at your family,
oh,
like how would you almost describe it? Like it was like just going through it. Like when somebody says, "What's the stamp that those people left behind?" Like what would you think of when they say the Anawahi family and the Samoans and the dynasty?
a group of tough some bitches.
Maybe the
Yeah,
toughest.
we left a mark. Our main thing was to get our people. Uh, that's what I was always taught. To bring our people's name up. And at the time, because back in the day when my dad and my uncle was traveling, nobody Samoa was just a small dot on the map. Nobody really ever heard of it, where it came from. So we wanted to let everybody know, where we come from, and that always transferred to generation to generation to generation to today. We're still doing it. And even though people now know, not because just us, football, uh, baseball, everything, just the rugby, Samoans are now known as tough SOBs out there. No nonsense on the field, or they play hard, we play hard, and I don't know. The proof's in the pudding.
That's the
That's
thing.
the
It's
thing.
funny. It's
Funny,
like
it's like
football and
football.
wrestling. Everybody knows like the island of Samoa now. It's like everybody's familiar with it. It's crazy.
It's a good thing. Good thing. Now I get the checkbooks out. And,
Yeah. Of course, got to also say the Celeb Fest in Baltimore, big time coming up with DH Promotion. Visit the Samu table. Million Dollar Man Tape DiBiase will be there as well. DH Promotions is kicking ass and taking names for sure. But where else can everybody find you as far as like social media and otherwise?
well, on social media, Facebook, on Hawaii Sam, no Samu on Hawaii, Twitter on Hawaii Samu, and yeah, I'll be at on Saturday, February 18th. We'll be down back in Baltimore again, Jimmy Seafood, watching the Elimination Chamber, signing some autographs, doing a personal appearance down there, and hanging out, doing a good time. Then Saturday, March 18th, I'm doing a fundraiser for a good friend of mine, John Rambo, up in Allentown, at the Fearless Fire Hall. And we're looking forward to trying our best to see what we could do to help John out. He had a heart attack and had passed away, and they brought him back. Now he's on dialysis, and he's just been a friend of the family for a long time, and we just want to do the most that we can to help the brother out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Awesome stuff, Samu. Thank you so much. Before we let you go, who would win, The Rock or Roman Reigns? If they were ever to have that big match, who would you pick?
Vince.
Good point. Good damn point. Yeah, that's for sure. Vince would be making out hand over fist for that
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But Samu, thank you so much for all the time today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
No problem, John. I was glad I'd finally be able to do this for you and touch base with you. We'll do it again in the future. And take care of yourself, make some memories, and we'll talk with you next time.
Awesome. Thank you.